The Culling Game Arc starts here. Chapter 144 begins. With Tsumiki caught up in Pseudo Gato's sinister culling game, Megumi asks Yuji to let go of his transgressions and help save his sister. Reminded of his last grandfather's words asking him to help others, Yuji comes up with a compromise. He asks Yuta to kill him in the event that Sukuna should take over his body again. Yuji believes Yuta is powerful enough to do so, and the second year agrees to do what he can if that ever happens. Megumi plans to regroup at Jujutsu High and contact Master Tengen. They need to find out how to unseal Satoru Gojo and what Gato's concrete objectives are for the future. The culling game is jujutsu terrorism on a scale never seen before, and Megumi believes they need answers to the aforementioned questions. Yuji asks if Yuki Tsukumo would know, and Megumi reveals this was her idea. Yuki's hiding at Tokyo Jujutsu High, waiting for them while avoiding the higher-ups. Yuta adds that their main issue with contacting Master Tengen is the Tombs of the Star corridor is closed off. Master Tengen's concealing barrier shuffles over 1,000 doors continuously, and only one leads to the Tombs of the Star. Yuji interrupts because he can't hold off asking a certain question anymore. He asks what happened to Nobara, but only gets an encouraging, saddened look toward the ground as a response from Megumi. Trying to contain his emotions, Yuji leans over and also looks to the ground while repeating, "I get it." Choso abruptly makes it known that he may know a way past the concealing barrier. He gets a bit too close to Megumi, who's uncomfortable with the interruption, but Yuta is glad he was listening. Yuji asks for clarification, and Choso reminds them that Mahito stole Sukuna's fingers and the death-painting wombs from Jujutsu High in the past. Choso believes they can achieve the same thing. Yuji, Megumi, Yuta, and Choso enter Jujutsu High in secret and meet with Yuki and Maki inside the same hidden room where Gojo had Yuji watch movies as training. Concerned, Yuta goes up to Maki and asks if it's okay for her to be moving around. Yuki explains to him that not even a reverse curse technique can prevent burn scars. Maki was able to survive because of her physical durability granted to her through heavenly restriction. Resistance to curses wasn't enough to save Nyobito Zenin from similar injuries. Maki says she wasn't exactly going for it, and then asks Megumi about their plan to slip past the concealing barrier. Choso volunteers to inform the group and explains that between the correct door and the tomb is the cursed warehouse where his brothers are being stored. Choso's connection to them will allow him to guide everyone to the correct door. Maki is satisfied with the plan, but she needs clarification on exactly who Choso, this random newcomer, is. After a brief silence, Yuji reluctantly tells everyone to just think of Choso as his big brother for now. Choso is shocked and excited to hear Yuji yelling his name out. Embarrassed, Yuji guides everyone outside the room onto their mission, leaving Choso in the background. Choso guides the group to the correct door, confident that his brothers sleep beyond it. Yuji is surprised to find there is no solid path beyond the doors, just a massive drop into a forested area filled with tall, old trees. Yuki tells them to move forward and go deeper in so they can locate the elevator that can descend them toward the tomb. The group walks past the cursed warehouse, where Choso stops for a moment. He touches its doors and asks his brothers to wait just a little longer for him to return. The group takes the elevator down to the Tombs of the Star corridor and walks down the pathway toward where Tengen resides. Yuji notices bloodstains on the ground and asks what happened. Yuki says it's the remains of what happened 11 years ago when everything in the Jujutsu world began to distort, picturing Toji Fushiguro in her mind. The students are unsure of what she means, but Yuki moves on and leads them directly to the main shrine. They walk into nothing but a white void, confusing everyone. Yuki says Tengen is rejecting them. Tengen normally doesn't interact with the world, but Yuki thought the contact was possible now that the six eyes have been sealed. She also considers the possibility that Tengen isn't rejecting everyone, just her. Megumi is unsure of what to do, and Yuta tells everyone they should head back since Tsumiki doesn't have time to waste. Suddenly, a voice asks why they're leaving so soon, stopping the group from going. Master Tengen reveals himself and says it's a pleasure to meet the children of the Zenin, Mishizane's descendant, the death-painting womb, and Sukuna's vessel. While everyone else is surprised by Tengen's appearance, Yuki asks why Tengen didn't address her in their greeting. Tengen replies, this isn't the first time they've met. Yuki's next question is why the Tombs of the Star corridor was closed off. Unable to see into the human heart, Tengen feared Yuki could have been in alignment with Kenjaku. Kenjaku is the name of the body-switching entity that was once Noritoshi Kamo and now inhabits the body of Suguru Geto. Yuji cuts in on the important conversation to ask why Tengen looks so strange. Megumi quietly thinks to himself that Yuji has guts for doing so. Tengen explains that despite their cursed technique, provides immortality, not anti-aging. 11 years ago, a new plasma vessel failed to appear, so Tengen's aging process accelerated and their self-awareness as an individual diminished. They were forced to evolve and have become one with the world itself. Megumi and Yuta get to the point and ask about Kenjaku's objectives and how to unseal Gojo from prison realm. Tengen will provide the information on one condition: at least 2 of the 3 people present that are ranked special grade must remain at the tomb to serve as Tengen's guards. Willing to provide more information first, Tengen explains that Kenjaku wants to force the evolution of all the people of Japan. He can't do so using Tengen's barrier with idle transfiguration because that requires massive amounts of cursed energy. Triggering an evolution of that scale using a cursed technique is inefficient. The method Kenjaku has chosen to force evolution on a massive scale is to merge Tengen with mankind. Since progressing into a new state, it is possible for Tengen to merge with someone who isn't the star plasma vessel. A human who merges with Tengen evolves into something beyond a sorcerer that is both there and not a part of the physical realm. Tengen stabilized and can maintain self-control even after evolving thanks to barrier techniques, but the world would end if mankind reached this state. There would be no boundaries between individuals, and the impurities of millions of humans would flood the world. What happened to Tokyo would engulf the entire planet. Tengen cannot refuse the merger because their evolution has caused them to become more cursed spirit than human being, a perfect target for cursed spirit manipulation. Due to the threat of Kenjaku coming to unseal the tomb, the corridor is rejecting everyone that approaches. Kenjaku was the one who set the plan into motion that stopped the merger 11 years ago. They were involved with Sukuna over 1,000 years ago, so Yuki wonders why he's just now making a move. Apparently, Tengen, the star plasma vessel, and the Six Eyes are connected by fate. Kenjaku was defeated by 2 Six Eyes users is in the past. After his second defeat, Kenjaku killed the star plasma vessel and the next Six Eyes user soon after they were born. Despite his efforts, they both appeared on the day of the merger with Tengen Anwei. This made him switch to the method of sealing the Six Eyes instead of attempting to eradicate it. However, the unexpected occurred 11 years ago when Toji Fushiguro intervened. He was a man who escaped cursed energy and therefore was not bound by the chains of fate that affect the Jujutsu world. In effect, Toji destroyed the destinies of Tengen, the star plasma vessel, and the Six Eyes. Along with him came Suguru Geto, a boy who could manipulate cursed spirits. Once Kenjaku secured Prison Realm 6 years ago, all his plans fell into place. The Culling Game is a ritual to prepare the people of Japan for the merger. It uses the player's cursed energy and the barriers to convey everyone to the other side. Through this custom, Tengen can be forced to merge with humankind. In order to pull off something of this level, Kenjaku has restricted himself with binding vows. One vow stipulates that he is not the Culling Game's master, meaning killing him won't even the game. The Culling Game can only end once all the players are dead, and there are rules in place to ensure nothing can interrupt the ritual. Yuji and the others' best course of action are to spend 100 points to add rules where Tsumiki and other unwilling participants can escape the game. Freeing Satoru Gojo would also obviously be ideal. Before Tengen reveals how to do so, they require the group to pick a combination of Yuta, Yuki, and Choso to serve as guards. Yuki and Choso volunteer themselves to protect Tengen. Choso knows Yuji will need Yuta or Yuki's help, and this will also give him the chance to protect his brothers should Kenjaku come for Tengen. Yuki isn't finished talking to Tengen anyway, and would like to stay if that's okay with Yuta. Wanting to remain with the other students, Yuta gleefully agrees. After expressing their gratitude, Tengen takes out the back of Prison Realm, a separate cursed object that will be necessary for unsealing Satoru Gojo. It serves as the back gate for Prison Realm and was hidden by Tengen to try and conceal the existence of the front. Kenjaku found it anyway, and he bears complete authority over Prison Realm as the bearer of the front gate. Breaking open the back would require cursed tools that can cancel cursed techniques like the inverted spear of heaven or the black rope. However, both of those were lost in separate battles with Satoru Gojo. Yuta searched for more black rope in Africa with Miguel to no avail. There still remains one way to open the back gate of Prison Realm. 1,000 years ago, there was a female sorcerer who called herself an angel. She possessed a cursed technique that can extinguish other cursed techniques. Her name is Hana Kurusu, and she's been incarnated as a Culling Game player.